In the autumn of 1976, inside a small house in rural Germany, a cassette tape began to spin. At first, there was only static. Then, breathing. Heavy, wet, animal-like. And finally, a voice. Not the voice of a young woman, but something guttural, broken, almost impossible to identify as human. A priest sitting inside that dark room later claimed the sound made his blood run cold. Another said he could never forget it for the rest of his life, because the voice coming from that tape belonged to a 23-year-old Catholic woman named Anneliese Michel, a devout German student who, according to the Catholic Church, had become possessed by demonic entities. Over the next 10 months, she would endure 67 exorcism sessions authorized by the Church. By the end, her body weighed barely 30 kilograms. Her knees had shattered from obsessive kneeling. Her teeth were broken, her body covered in wounds. And on the morning of July 1st, 1976, Anneliese Michel was found dead on the floor beside her bed. But what truly terrified investigators was not simply the death itself, it was the tapes. Because recorded on those cassettes were screams, growls, and voices claiming to be Lucifer, Judas, Nero, even Adolf Hitler. Nearly 50 years later, the case remains one of the most disturbing collisions between religion, psychology, and fear ever documented. Was Anneliese Michel mentally ill, or did something terrifying truly happen inside that room? Tonight, we enter one of the darkest cases ever connected to the Catholic Church. Before the tapes, before the exorcisms, before the horror, Anneliese Michel was simply a quiet girl growing up in Bavaria, West Germany. She was deeply religious from childhood. Friends described her as polite, intelligent, and intensely devoted to the Catholic Church. She attended Mass constantly, yet prayed for hours, and dreamed of becoming a teacher someday. To outsiders, her life appeared ordinary, but behind the walls of her conservative Catholic household, guilt and religious fear were always present. Her mother reportedly believed suffering brought people closer to God. Sin was spoken about constantly: punishment, redemption, sacrifice. And in 1968, when Anneliese was only 16 years old, something changed forever. One afternoon, she suddenly collapsed in school. Her body began convulsing violently. Doctors diagnosed temporal lobe epilepsy, a neurological condition known to cause seizures, hallucinations, and altered states of consciousness. At first, the family trusted medicine. Anneliese was prescribed psychiatric medication, but the medication did not help. In fact, her condition became worse. According to her own testimony, Anneliese soon began hearing voices, not random sounds. Voices. Dark voices repeating the same horrifying sentence over and over again: "You will rot in hell." Then came the visions. She claimed faces around her began to change. Friends, teachers, strangers. Their expressions twisting into grotesque demonic forms, their eyes becoming black, their mouths stretching unnaturally wide. And eventually, even religious symbols began affecting her. She claimed crucifixes smelled foul, holy water burned her skin. She became unable to walk near churches. At night, she screamed uncontrollably. Her family watched helplessly as the once gentle young woman transformed into someone they barely recognized. And then, the physical behavior began. Behavior so disturbing that even experienced investigators later struggled to explain it. She stopped sleeping in her bed and chose instead to lie for hours on the freezing stone floor. She performed hundreds of kneeling squats every single day until the ligaments in her knees were severely damaged. She tore off her clothes, bit herself, ate spiders, chewed pieces of coal, and in one incident witnessed by members of the household, she reportedly grabbed a dead bird and bit through its head with her teeth. Her parents became convinced this was no longer a medical condition. To them, this was possession. But when they approached the church asking for help, many priests refused to believe them. Because in the 1970s, the Catholic Church had become increasingly skeptical about exorcisms. Psychiatry was replacing supernatural explanations. Most alleged possessions were dismissed as mental illness. But one priest listened carefully, Father Ernst Alt. And after meeting Anneliese personally, he would later say something deeply chilling. "I saw in her eyes," he said, "something I had never seen before." According to reports, Father Alt became convinced that medicine alone could not explain what he witnessed. And eventually, he sought permission for an official exorcism, a request almost never approved. But in September of 1975, the Bishop of Würzburg secretly authorized the ritual. The church had made its decision, and the nightmare was about to begin. The exorcisms began inside the Michel family home. The room was small, cold, dimly lit, and according to witnesses, the atmosphere inside became unbearable almost immediately. The rituals were performed primarily by Father Ernst Alt and Father Arnold Renz. What makes this case uniquely horrifying is that many of the sessions were recorded on cassette tape. 42 tapes still exist. And those recordings remain among the most disturbing audio documents ever associated with an exorcism. The priests described hearing voices emerge from Anneliese that sounded nothing like her own, not merely screaming, but layered voices. Deep masculine growls mixed with distorted shrieks, at times sounding elderly, at times animalistic, at times almost inhuman, and during several sessions, the entities allegedly identified themselves, one by one. Lucifer, Cain, Judas Iscariot, Nero, Hitler, and Fleischmann, a disgraced priest from the 16th century. The recordings contain violent arguments between the priests and the supposed entities. At certain moments, Anneliese can be heard snarling like a wild animal. Witnesses claimed she lunged at people inside the room, attempting to bite them. One priest later described the sounds as not belonging to a human throat. The rituals became increasingly brutal. For hours at a time, Anneliese knelt on the floor reciting prayers while restrained by family members. She refused food, refused water. Her body deteriorated rapidly. Yet according to those close to her, she believed her suffering had a purpose. Some reports claim Anneliese told the priests she had been chosen to suffer for the sins of others, that her agony was a form of sacrifice. But by early 1976, her condition had become catastrophic. Her hair was falling out, her teeth cracked, her body skeletal. And despite this, the exorcisms continued. 67 sessions over 10 months, hours and hours of prayers, screams, growling, and tape recordings that would later horrify an entire courtroom. There are listeners today who refuse to hear the recordings alone at night, not necessarily because they believe in demons, but because the suffering captured on those tapes feels terrifyingly real. And perhaps that is what makes the case so disturbing. Whether possession or mental illness, a young woman was clearly descending into unimaginable torment, and no one could stop it. Then came the final night. On July 1st, 1976, Anneliese Michel died inside her family home in Germany. She was 23 years old. When authorities examined the body, the scene shocked even hardened investigators. She weighed roughly 30 kilograms. Her knees were severely damaged from constant kneeling. Her body was dehydrated and malnourished. The official cause of death was starvation and dehydration. But inside the home, her family believed something entirely different. They believed the exorcism had failed only because the demons had destroyed her body first. According to reports, her final words to her mother were simple and heartbreaking. "Mother, I am afraid." And to the priests, "Pray for my absolution." The death of Anneliese Michel quickly exploded into international headlines. And in 1978, the case entered a courtroom that would become the stage for one of the strangest legal battles in modern European history. Her parents, Father Ernst Alt and Father Arnold Renz, were all charged with negligent homicide. The prosecution argued something horrifyingly simple. Anneliese could have been saved. Doctors testified that basic medical intervention and forced nutrition might have prevented her death even just days before the end. But the defense presented something the courtroom would never forget: the tapes. During the trial, recordings from the exorcisms were played aloud before judges and witnesses. The courtroom reportedly fell into stunned silence. Because whatever explanation people believed, the sounds were deeply disturbing. Some journalists present later described the experience as surreal, a collision between science and faith, psychiatry and religion, medicine and the supernatural. The verdict eventually arrived. All 4 defendants were found guilty of negligent homicide, but none served prison time. Their sentences were suspended. Yet even after the trial ended, the debate never truly stopped. To skeptics, Anneliese Michel was the tragic victim of untreated mental illness and religious extremism. To believers, she became one of the most convincing modern cases of demonic possession ever recorded. And perhaps the most disturbing truth lies somewhere in between. Because when people listen to those tapes today, what terrifies them most is not necessarily the possibility of demons. It is the sound of human suffering pushed beyond all limits. Nearly 50 years later, the Vatican still rarely speaks publicly about the case. The tapes continue circulating in dark corners of the internet, and the image of a young German woman kneeling in a cold room, whispering prayers into the darkness, still haunts millions of people around the world. Anneliese Michel, 1952 to 1976. Whether viewed as possession, mental illness, or tragedy, her story remains one of the most disturbing cases in modern history.